Hot air balloons are a common sight for neighbors in this Howell, Michigan neighborhood. As each year, they gather for the annual Michigan Challenge Balloon Fest. During the event, neighbors and the balloons compete to see who can drop the most markers onto targets on the ground.
Now this guy's gonna try to do it.
But as a neighbor records the event, he starts to notice that something is off with the yellow balloon above him. The aerial vehicle starts to descend, despite the pilot attempting to use hot air from the flame to propel it higher. But the balloon continues to drop.
Ron, you okay? Ron, are you okay?
A neighbor shouts for him to pilot it into a nearby lake before the entire balloon disintegrates.
Get on the phone now!
911!
Someone need to go save him?
Hey!
The man recording and other neighbors rush to the lake in an attempt to rescue the pilot.
He's out of the basket.
But before they can make it, neighbors fishing near the landing site are able to pull the man from the balloon and drag him safely to shore.
He's okay! He's in the boat! He's okay!
Much to the neighbor's surprise, the pilot escapes the crash unscathed. An investigation into the accident reveals that the hot air balloon loses elevation due to a mechanical failure in the burner. And these brave people prove that the sky is the limit when it comes to saving your neighbor. In Ilfracombe, a seaside resort town on the southwest coast of England, surveillance video captures a group of neighborhood children playing in the surf along the pier's slipway. When suddenly, a rogue wave crashes on the ramp, knocking a girl between the railings. While she tries to hold on to the edge, the waves and current are too strong and quickly overwhelm the girl. Her two friends watch helplessly as the intense waves pull her further and further away from land, and any chances of a rescue begin slipping away by the second. Neighbors are alerted and rush to see the harrowing scene as their friends motion for the girl to swim, but she can't overcome the high tide. Seeing the girl is still possibly reachable, a neighbor rushes to the end of the pier and into dangerous waters in an attempt to grab her. Thankfully, there's a small lull in the wave break, and he's able to put her on his shoulders and bring her to safety, where she is treated for minor injuries and taken home. While the video is a reminder of the power of the sea, it's also proof that not all lifesavers are lifeguards. Sometimes they can be quick-thinking neighbors. Monrovia, California. A calm day in the neighborhood turns precarious when a neighbor and his wife stumble across two bear cubs struggling to make it over the fence to their mother.
These guys.
Seeing that the child is failing to climb up on his own, the mama bear grabs the cub in her mouth and pulls him over. But the other youngster is left behind.
I've heard Mama leaves the weakest link behind. Try, little one. Mama can only do so much. Right there, right there, right there. You got him, you got him, you got him. You got him.
The mom succeeds in latching onto the cub with her mouth.
Don't let go, don't let go. You got him, you got him, you got him.
And over he goes, giving these animal neighbors a very happy ending. The beaches of Daly City, California, call to 30-year-old Autumn Tillman, who longs for tranquility after living in busy San Francisco.
Where I came from was pretty noisy. It was a city, and I don't hear that at all here. It's very quiet.
A year after moving in, a new neighbor, a man in his 40s, moves in across the hallway from Autumn.
He looks very normal. From if you just happen to walk down the street, you may be, oh, he's an approachable person. Maybe I can ask him for directions.
One day, Autumn hears noises outside her door and decides to go out to investigate.
Black race, Latino red.
She finds her neighbor pacing up and down the hallway, talking to himself.
They don't really have the same values as white values.
I've heard these things out on the streets. Never in my wildest dreams thought I would come face to face with something like that.
So we're doing race war and Aryan nation. Heil Hitler to any dog. We're teaching them white is right. So we're gonna do race war. I'm gonna take it to the next level.
Autumn retreats back into her apartment, but
I'm sorry you confuse white Catholics with human life.
she says the neighbor's comments continue to intensify over the next few days.
Christ says we have to kill queers.
I think I had more anger at some point because it just kept building up.
And one evening, when she comes home from work, she hears her neighbor once again and decides to stand up to him.
Do you ever shut the up? Ever shut the up in front of my door with your racist? You're racist as every day. You are this, Asians that, I'm black, they're Asians. Shut the up!
I lost it that day. I was like, enough. I didn't know what was about to happen next, but it was gonna be something.
I'm tired of your in front of my door. Go inside. Okay? Goodbye.
Autumn grabs a can of disinfectant spray from her apartment and sprays her neighbor.
Killed 99.9% germs, so I thought, hey, well, maybe it's gonna kill 99.9% of racism and homophobicness.
You are disgusting. You're disgusting. Good. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Shut the up.
And from then on, he went inside this place and he locked his door.
With the spat over, Autumn and her neighbors complain to their apartment manager, but she claims they aren't able to take any action against the tenant. Looking for a more peaceful home, Autumn decides to move into another complex in the area.
Since I have not been able to run into him, I feel like I'm a human being. I don't feel like I'm in 1955 and I need permission to go to my door.
Autumn uses the pain from this experience as a catalyst to make her new neighborhood a place where all are welcome.
I am an activist, actually. I do advocate for, minority people. I do advocate for gay people. And I want to kind of like build bonds where Black, Asian, Latino, and the white community can all come together like the way the neighbors are supposed to be.
Shortly after bringing their newborn baby home to their Tampa, Florida condo, a couple find themselves in a rift with their downstairs neighbor, who's irritated with the noise they're making while tending to the newborn's needs. "Could you don't make that sound?" writes the neighbor. "Sound like stepping floors." And again the next day. "Don't hit the ground, please. You wake me up since 4 a.m. Now tiptoeing around their apartment at night, the new father checks in with his neighbor the following day. "Good morning. Was it better last night?" writes the new father. "Yes, it was much better. I slept till 7 a.m. And the matter appears to be resolved. But things take an eerie turn. According to the couple, a strange and noxious odor becomes noticeable at their front door. For several weeks, the intense odor comes and goes in waves, which the family claims causes irritation and nausea. After trying in vain to pinpoint the source of the smell, the husband suspects it might be coming from outside the front door and installs a hidden surveillance camera in a nearby plant just to see if he's missing something. And he's shocked by what he records. One afternoon, the husband gets a notification on his phone and promptly checks it, seeing his downstairs neighbor doing something suspicious at the bottom of his front door. Due to the camera angle, he is unable to make out the neighbor's actions in any conclusive way, so he readjusts the framing, hoping to get a more complete picture should the neighbor come back. And the very next day, the neighbor returns. The husband is shocked to see what looks like a syringe and vial in the neighbor's hands. And he does something even more chilling than the family could possibly imagine. He appears to inject something from the syringe under the door of the apartment. Shaken by what he sees, the husband immediately calls 911. The police and fire rescue teams arrive and check the family's vitals, assessing the effects of potential chemical exposure, something that is later confirmed by court records to be a mixture of the opioids, methadone, and hydrocodone, an extremely dangerous and sometimes lethal combination. The husband believes the neighbor's motives are driven by desire to get the family to move out. Upon seeing the video, the police arrest the neighbor. He is subsequently charged with battery, possession of a controlled substance, and aggravated stalking. According to police documents, the neighbor, a Chinese national pursuing a PhD in chemistry, is expelled from the local university and reportedly deported back to China. Thankfully, the father's intuition prevents the chemical attack from becoming deadly. But the ordeal leaves a deep and traumatic impact on the family, one that can hopefully fade over time. In Hoboken, New Jersey, a city where parking can be a nightmare, a dog owner returning home after her pup surgery is greeted by a neighbor who's held a parking spot for them for convenience.
That worked out perfectly. Thank you so much for saving us the spot.
As a result of the good deed, the owner and her dog Charlie decide to gift the neighbor some flowers.
Hello. Here, we got you these flowers as a thank you.
Goodness. Did he pick these?
Of course he did. Of course he picked them out himself. You ready?
The three friends head inside, where Charlie enthusiastically joins his friend for some cuddles.
Oh my gosh, this is a photo.
And rewarding the kind neighbor for her thoughtful gesture.
That is so sweet.
The term Minnesota nice is a lighthearted stereotype defining neighbors in the Midwestern state to be unusually courteous, reserved, and mild-mannered. It's partially why emergency services dispatcher James Hodge and his family love to call Minnesota home.
My family, we've lived in the town of Truman since 2012. I currently live with my husband and my one dog, and Minnesota nice is for sure one of the things I like about the neighborhood.
But unfortunately for James, one next-door neighbor doesn't always live up to the nice moniker.
Initially, my neighbors, they showed that Minnesota nice, but a year later, that's when everything kind of went off the rails.
One afternoon, while asleep after a long overnight shift, James is awakened by his neighbor, who's addressing one of his security cameras.
She's like, I stepped in your dog's poop, and I mean, she was irate.
According to James, the neighbor is upset after stepping in poop in her own yard, and she suspects that his dogs are at fault, something he denies.
I'm like, the only way you could have is if you came in my yard.
The neighbor leaves, only to come back later that night and leave another message.
Hey, just so you know, I got a whole bunch of cat poop out back. I just give it a good heap hole, and now I'm waiting for your dogs to eat it, and then they'll get worms. So you be sure to check their butt too.
I was kind of angry. Why would you want to try and hurt someone else's dog?
One afternoon, James believes the neighbor's taunts are replaced with apparent threats.
Look at you little bitches, I'm crazy ass. You don't know when I'm gonna pounce on your head.
I was just irate because you never know what someone's capable of until they commit the act.
Watch your back, bitch. Watch your back. I am crazy as
Tired of her repeated messages, James secures a restraining order from the court as a level of protection from her.
Call 911! Quick!
One afternoon, James sees the neighbor standing in his yard again.
I'm on your property! I'm talking to you!
So I called the police chief and I was like, hey, she's on the yard right now.
Look at this! I'm on your grass! Woo!
When the police arrive, James says they witnessed the neighbor on his property yet again. The officers then discuss the infraction on the woman's stoop, which James records. She seemingly becomes more and more agitated and defiant, ultimately leading to her arrest.
When she was getting arrested, I was like, good, you're gonna learn your lesson. You need to know that there's consequences to adult actions.
While the neighbor is released that evening, she continues to be a source of frustration to James in the ensuing months. As a result of her behavior, James and his spouse move out of the neighborhood because their goal is to raise a family and to do so without the headaches caused by the unnice neighbor.
My perspective has changed on how I interact with my neighbors as a whole. I always try and get a good feeling for them before I start talking to them a lot more, because living next to someone that's so confrontational, it makes me mad because like I just want to be able to live peacefully, but it's like I'm not going to do it living next to you.
Watch your back, bitch. Watch your back.
The lake's not your property.
Yes, it is.
Neighborhood lakes can be a source of disputes over who has the right to be there. And these neighbors in Putnam, Illinois, who are spending a day at the community lakefront, find themselves in a heated one.
You're the only member I've ever seen do that, and everybody comes in with a car and a sticker.
The woman in blue claims that her neighbor doesn't have a neighborhood decal or wristband, which permits her onto the beach.
It is my going across the whole thing.
The neighbor maintains she has a right to be there. Hearing the commotion, the beach security guard tells them to calm down and starts recording to send to his supervisor.
I just asked this lady to stop harassing these people. They will not leave them alone.
I know everyone does. Mind your own business. This is my business. When you work for the beach, that is your business. I don't have to show you that. You do if I ask you. No, I don't. You don't.
Karen's getting mad.
Need to see mine, I will show it to you. Do I have to show that to her?
No, you don't. No, you don't have to show her nothing.
I have to show this gentleman, the security.
The woman's husband in the neon tank top joins in on the argument.
Any member in good standing that pays dues here can ask you to see your wristband.
And the security does it when I come in.
Well, he's not doing his job.
According to the guard, neighbors are not able to enter the neighborhood beach without being vetted. But the woman in the blue wants to check for herself.
Where's your sticker on your car? You want to walk to my car? Come on. Yes. Come on.
Oh.
Can you videotape this?
Yeah, you absolutely. I got no problems showing this.
The woman is stunned when the neighbor's car does indeed have a decal.
Do you have bifocals or do you need a pair? That was not the car that I said did not have a sticker.
So why are you harassing people about it?
It did not have a guest pass. It has one now. No problem. Did you have a wristband?
To reiterate,
You have your
sticker?
wristband. Speaking to you, ma'am.
The neighbor leaves the parking lot, and the woman insists on giving an explanation for her line of questioning. And she thinks she is correct.
I have every right, as a member in good standing, to ask other people who are on the beach if they have their wristband. End of story, that's all I said.
And with the battle over, the neighbor returns to the beach. The guard says that he hasn't seen either neighbor since the incident. And with the squabble squashed, tranquility is restored to this neighborhood lakefront.
I know everyone does. Mind your own business. This is my business.
In this Atlanta apartment complex, a woman's door camera catches her next-door neighbor's odd behavior outside her door. But one day, the neighbor's ritual hits a little too close to home.
Whoa, somebody just threw this at the door.
The woman's door cam catches her reaction to discovering a large wet splatter on her doorstep. The door cam also records when the police arrive, and the woman shows them the wet spot.
Just open my door and see this. It's coming from her door. She throws it real quick.
The woman claims her neighbor has thrown an unknown liquid on her door and doormat.
That's exactly what it smells.
The woman begins recording on her phone as they knock on her neighbor's door. But as she's questioned by the police, the neighbor has a divine explanation.
It's holy water.
Perhaps in an attempt to purify her surroundings, the neighbor claims to have doused the door with holy water. But whether holy water or not, the woman thinks her neighbor made an unholy mess.
We're gonna be civil. You're too old for this, I'm too old for this. This needs to be cleaned. This is not my mess. It's highly disgusting.
It's holy water.
Clean your mess.
The neighbor asks the woman to be more specific.
How can I clean the mess? Will I throw another cup of water? Is the water you want me to do? Get on my knees? At first or whatever, thought you were cool.
Ma'am, I don't care. I just want this mess cleaned, please.
As tempers continue to rise, the officer intervenes.
I would just recommend going into your apartment.
Both neighbors agree to go inside and let things calm down.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
No further updates on this feud, but the neighbor now keeps her holy water at home. St. George, Utah. After a man sees someone getting pulled over by the police outside his front window, he decides to take a humorous approach into finding out the reason why.
The question you guys have all been waiting for.
The nosy neighbor uses handwritten signs to try to find out more about the traffic stop, but the cops have a hard time reading them.
Yes, write bigger. They did get a ticket.
Okay.
One stop sign.
After giving the neighbor the cause of the ticket, the policeman asks for a favor in return.
You got donuts?
Donuts. You got donuts? That's funny. They asked if we had donuts.
The policeman doesn't waste 1 minute taking him up on the offer.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks for keeping the streets safe. You guys have a nice day.
You too.
We got some milk if you want it.
With the goods swapped, the police depart the scene, leaving this neighbor with one piece of juicy neighborhood gossip he'll never forget.
You got donuts?
Donuts. You got donuts? That's funny.